Good morning, everyone. It's another episode of The Conversation here on TOS Television Network, and it's Friday. The week is finally coming to a close. As well as the month. The month has finally ended. It's the 30th day of April 2021. My name is Adesuwa Osui.
And my name is Merciful Ajinamo.
Good morning,
Happy
Merciful.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
I was going to say happy last day of the month, but then I don't think there's any such thing.
I don't think anybody has ever
Okay, but we're glad that the month has come to an end, and
Are you?
hopeful for better days ahead.
Yeah.
Month of May from tomorrow.
Exactly. Okay, before we kickstart the show proper, allow us bring you the quote of the day. So I think, Dale is just trying to say, look, you shouldn't be scared of failing. In as much as you shouldn't look forward to failing or look forward to being discouraged and all of that. But if all of that happens, you shouldn't be scared of that. It's part of the process. It's part of how, you get successful at something. I think this week we've basically been, telling you how failure is not.
How failure is always part of the process. How you just learn from it and just move ahead. Don't allow it to weigh us down. Just look forward and light at the end of the tunnel. Exactly.
So, having said all of that, with that, we move into development across Africa. And we start from here in Nigeria. That's Plateau State in Nigeria, where gunmen has kidnapped two students. Two students of Calvary International Ministry, also known as CAPRO, in Barkin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State, have been kidnapped by suspected gunmen. TOS News learned the attack occurred on Wednesday night. The school is a few kilometers away from the Yakubu Gowon International Airport, Haipang. Spokesperson, Plateau Police Command ASP Gabriel Uba confirmed the attack. However, the school management has not issued an official statement on the incident.
This week has not really been a very good one in terms of the attacks, the kidnappings, and everything. And we do hope that all of this ends with this week, and things are being put in place that we don't have to come to the show and talk about one kidnapping and one killing on the other. Moving on to Lesotho, where the deputy leader of the ruling party in Lesotho, Al Basotho Convention, Professor Nkoso Mahau, has broken away to form a new party called the New Dawn. Mahau on Tuesday confirmed the formation of the new party in an interview with a Lesotho-based newspaper. He said the new party had been tentatively named New Dawn. He said he and other unnamed ABC legislators had on Tuesday decided to form a new party because they were tired of the incessant fighting in the ABC. Mahao added that the formation of the new party was likely to have a great effect on the present government, as there were going to be movements like this in a game of chess.
It's amazing how African leaders, when they feel changing party is going to change things. It's like, when it's not working for you in this party, just change party or you form a new party. And that's what we keep saying. It's like a revolving chain. It just
to an extent, it's supposed to work. But
what
we see happen here in Africa, the continent, is, going to a party so your own personal gains can be brought to the table.
Exactly.
So you can, whatever you decide, people want to work things out from a very selfish point of view. Yeah. So that's it. You can always work wherever you are. You can always bring change if you stand as one. Unity is something that we're lacking in this continent.
I mean, the party is named New Dawn, so we do hope that it actually brings a new dawn to the country.
Of course.
Okay, moving away from that, talking about bilateral, interactions between Morocco and Saudi Arabia. The Moroccan Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nasser Bourita, held video talks with his Saudi Arabian counterpart, Prince Faisal bin Farman Al Saud, on bolstering bilateral ties. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, African Cooperation and Moroccan Expatriates, in a statement, said the Saudi minister took the opportunity to reiterate the constant and principled position of his country vis-a-vis the territorial integrity of Morocco. While speaking, Bourita reiterated the solidarity of Morocco and its continued support to the brotherly kingdom of Saudi Arabia to defend its stability, territorial integrity and security of its citizens and residents, as well as its initiative to resolve the crisis in Yemen. I mean, I like to see, countries collaborating, coming together to actually discuss the progress of the continent and all that stuff. So, way to go, way to go, way to go.
All right, moving on to Nigeria here, where Mama Brona, that's Burna Boy's mother, joins 2021 International Power Players Billboard list. The Nigerian academic and businesswoman who manages her son's musical career, Bose Ogulu, popularly known as Mama Brona, has joined the International Power Players by Billboard 2021. The Billboard International Power Players list honors leaders in the music industry at a global level, and its honorees are nominated by peers and companies in the business, with selection by editors who operate outside the United States. The honorees list covers concert promoters, independent entrepreneurs, label executives, music publishers, and artist managers.
I mean, that's Mama Burna. Everybody knows the effort, the work Mama Burna puts into, managing Burna. It's so easy to manage Burna Boy, right? And then she's managed him from when, he wasn't even accepted here in Nigeria to where he became a global phenomenon.
It's a unique relationship, like having your mom be a part of your business, be a part of your career and work hand in hand. I think it's very beautiful.
He literally says, my mom is the only person that can handle me. That's why she's my manager. It literally said that. I don't think any other person can work with me. So I don't
know any other artist that has their parent, managing them.
I think in the US
this is unique, and he's bagging all the awards he can get.
Exactly.
I mean, he's been nominated. His mom has been. I mean, it's so beautiful.
So yeah, Mama Brona deserves to be on that platform. Way to go! I love to see it. Okay, with that, we're going to bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa.
TOS TV Network mobile app is now available. You can now catch up on our breaking news, stream our programs live, watch out for the latest update on sports and politics as they unfold. You can also get notifications for our upcoming programs and events. All these on our TOS TV Network mobile app, available on Apple Store and Google Play Store. TOS TV News from Africa by Africans.
Being a journalist means in-depth analysis that unravels hidden truths, that question the status quo and fact-checks government.
These criminal elements hiding under the cloak of surveillance contractors are the APC elements.
Do you have facts to prove that? Being a journalist means waking up every day with a burning desire for peace, equity, and justice for all citizens.
We're being told that the choice you have is to take the lesser of two evils.
It means patriotism via the prism of objectivity and accountability. It means giving my platform to the masses to discuss issues that matter to them.
Some of them, if they bring budget, like the budget they look. Some of them sleep. They're going to ask how much you are on. I have it.
Thereby shaping government policies and laws. My name is Osasu Igbenegbu, and I am the People's Journalist.
Welcome back to The Conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network. It's the Friday edition of our newspaper review for the segment. Don't forget, you can always be a part of it by following us across all our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course live stream the content on our website www.tostvnetwork.com. And don't forget, you can also subscribe on YouTube at TOS TV Network. We'll begin with Blueprint newspaper this morning, and from the very top, CBN sacks First Bank Hold Coast Board, and that can be found on page 24 of the Blueprint newspaper. And just underneath that, we see legal challenges delaying Mambila Power Project takeoff. That's coming from the federal government, and of course the story can be found on page 23. Just the two headlines underneath the Blueprint header there is the first: Nigeria doesn't need state of emergency over insecurity. That's coming from Asari, and the writer says military in every state overstretched. That can be found on page 5. And just side by side, talking about the Workers' Day, May 1st, federal government declares Monday public holiday, and that's coming on page 14 of the Blueprint newspaper. The very conspicuous header there is Akpabio, rising insecurity plot to derail Buhari administration. We have a couple of riders underneath that story. The first, PDP suggests security summit is as way out, and resolve to tackle Boko Haram, others total. That's coming from Atahiru. And then Senate summons Finance Minister, Army Chief. On page 7, Benue killings, Otom only sees problems of others. All of that can be found on the Blueprint newspaper. And just underneath the picture of the day, we see student pastor kidnapped in Jos community. And that's in Plateau State. And the writer underneath says, Afaka 29 parents seek NAS intervention for children's freedom. And that's 29 parents seeking National Assembly intervention for children's freedom. And we see another sad story there. Three bandits killed. A good story rather. 3 bandits killed in Benue communities, and that's coming on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. The last 3 headlines underneath the newspaper is the first: Lagos hands over amputee Sashi water worker to Kingsmen, and that's coming on page 15 of the Blueprint newspaper. Digital switch over, talking about that. Lagos to end analog broadcast in 6 months, and that can be found on page 24. And just the last headline there is NSAS Ondo panel recommend 755 million naira compensation for victims of the NSAS, and that particular story can be found on page 13 of the Blueprint newspaper.
Moving away from the Blueprint newspaper to the Business Day newspaper, the very obvious headline there says, Egypt's 3-year economic plan holds lessons for Nigeria. And then just, underneath that one, inside the Business Day, Nigeria's largest hoteliers lose 19.77 billion naira in 2020. That's the reason, page 30 of the Business Day. Underneath that, separatism and its contradictions. Page 30 also, where you can find that story. And then the last headline on the Business Day newspaper this morning says, well, China's bold move into cocoa repeat history for Nigeria. That story is on page 31 of the Business Day. Moving
over to the Daily Trust newspaper, the very top one is from the front page comment, "End this madness now." Just to get the details of that on page 14 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And the very gaping headline there is talking about impeachment. Senators, reps divided as Afenifere backs Mbaka's verdict on Buhari. We have 4 riders. The first is cleric confusing his congregation, coming from the ACF. He's playing politics with prophecy. That's coming from the All Progressives Congress. Impeachment not solution, coming from Senator Keita. And president can't be removed by mere call. That's coming from lawyers. And I'm just underneath the picture of the day. I think it's a prayer. We see Abuja residents panic as CBN issues security alert to staff. That's on the Daily Trust newspaper. The very underneath the newspaper there, we see Buhari directs audit of Mambila Power Project, and 29 years after, Katsina Zobe Dam water plant finally comes alive. And the last headline there is CBN sacks first bank board, retains Adedunton as the managing director, and that can be found on page 16 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And to the Nigerian News Direct newspaper, the very first headline there says, Airtel Africa appoints Ogusanya as CEO. Workers' Day, federal government declares Monday, May 3rd, 2021, public holiday. That story is on page 2. National Automotive Council account, Senate demands explanation on 7.5 billion naira withdrawal by Finance Minister and NSA. And then to the main headline on the Nigerian News Direct, sack a First Bank board, no cause for panic. That's coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Reinstate Adedutan as MD, replaces Otudeko.
Shareholders fume, share price drops by 6.76%. That is on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. And just beside the picture of the day, no threat to Nigerian airports. That's coming from ONSA. Our quest is for LASU to be among 10 world best universities. That's coming from the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Masari PDP disagree on calls for state of emergency. NAF evolves strategies to meet changing security environment, wings new pilots. And then just beside that, when ICPC does not spend recovered funds, that's coming from Owasanoye. And then the last headline there says, why we continue to produce world-class products at Degunwa Right Food MD. All of that are inside, the Nigerian News Direct this morning.
And the very last newspaper for this morning that I'll be reading on the review segment of the show is the Daily Times. And from the very top, we see confusion as CBN reinstate Adendutan as first bank MD, dissolves board. And that's coming on page 3 of the Daily Times. The very obvious headline there is Senate summons Finance Minister, Chief of Army Staff over budgetary releases for war. That can be found on page 2. And under the pictures of the day there, we see Senate squeezes Minister over 32.4 billion naira for palliatives. And that can be found on page 2. Talking about Palace Watch, Edo government dethrones minister's uncle, Oliola of Uneme Unzanu. That's coming on page 20. And then the last one, still talking about Palace Watch. Amid unabating intrigues, widow of deceased Itsekiri King raises alarm over children's safety. That can be found on page 21 of the Daily Times newspaper.
Did you see the circular that was released by, CBN on, warning its staff about insecurity in the States? Did you see that?
And I've not come
No, you haven't seen it. Because I saw that on the headline that, Abuja arrested panic. I saw, that yesterday and I said, okay, it's come to this point where everyone has to be on their toes. Everyone has to, look over their shoulders. You have to just be careful, all of that stuff. And then but it's just basically what we'll be talking, because I don't think Nigerians do not deserve the violence, the bloodshed, and the level of insecurity that's happening in the country right now.
True, we've come a long way.
Yes, we do not deserve it. And I think I agree with that headline. I say, end this madness now, because it has to end now.
Yeah,
it's becoming a mad state, really. True. It has to really, really end, and a lot has to be put in place to ensure that we do not, because you did say that this week is the week where we had the most, issues talking about killings, banditry, and all of that stuff. It's like this week is the saddest so far, and we do hope that next week we get to see, reduction in all of that, because we cannot keep, having to go back.
Definitely, we cannot. All right, that's the what you can take on the newspaper review segment of the show this morning on The Conversation. We'll go on a break, and when we return, a day's while we're taking you through what's trending on social media. Do stay.
Welcome back. It's about that time where I take you through what has been trending on social media in the last 24 hours. But before we get into all of that, I would always remind you that you can be a part of the conversation by following TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also subscribing to TOS TV Network on YouTube, so you're not left out of amazing lineups and contents that we have for you. You can also stream the conversation and other programs on www.tostvnetwork.com. All right, let's get into what has been trending on social media, on Twitter, basically, for the last 24 hours. So the hashtag boycotts the platform found its way to the top of the trend table on Twitter. So the platform it's an event that the pastor of Covenant Nation and Pastor Koju Oyemade is, putting together. So it's supposed to actually, I think address lots of stuff that's happening in the country at the moment. And then so he added the governor of Kaduna State, Governor Nasir El-Rufai, to the list of speakers at the platform. And a lot of Nigerians were not having it because, that's a Christian, convener of a Christian event and all that stuff. And then Nasir El-Rufai, a lot of people feel as though he's not in support of, the Christian community and all of that stuff. So it's like a contrast. Why are you inviting this person to a gathering that's going to have, largely Christians? So there's a lot of, back and forth in that regard. I'm going to read out a few tweets, to you. The first one is from Theo Abu Agada. How can a man who arrogantly removed a Christian deputy and replaced it with a Muslim deputy be invited to a Christian platform, or Christian program rather, to speak? Hashtag boycott the platform. The other one is from Krima Chick 11. El-Rufai accused Christians of sponsoring Boko Haram, what he's yet to recant. There is no reason to call him into the congregation of primarily Christians to speak. He has no legitimacy. Hashtag boycott the platform. The third tweet is from @Afrispheric. If El-Rufai needed a church-organized event to speak at, he could have gone to the funeral service at Ekwa of those university students killed in Kaduna, but he did not, and did not even send a representative. Hashtag boycott the platform. So this last tweet, kind of, replicates my my thoughts on this whole thing, and it's from Oyeyemi Emmanuel. She's saying it's not a Christian program, it's a socio-political event that talks about the devolution of state power in Nigeria. Who do you invite? The partakers. And if you think he's part of the problem, then it's all the better he's in the room. We need to start to learn conversation. And I think that's why I said this Latin reiteration is just because it just encapsulates the whole thing I wanted to say. It's not necessarily a church event, right? The event is supposed to, for state actors, people who are part of the process in the country. And you have to invite people who are in it, right? And El-Rufai is a force to be reckoned with, so to speak. And we have lots of happenings in Kaduna State at the moment. We want to hear his take on it and, what he has to say. I mean, aside from the banditry and kidnapping and the fact that he says, look, we're not negotiating with terrorists and then, these people are killing people. We still have him, sacking, workers in the state and all of that stuff. He's a state actor. We need to hear him speak. We need to know what's in their heads, right? And I don't understand why, Nigerians, the Christian community are saying, look, we don't want this guy in this whole thing. Like, why are you, a pastor, inviting this guy who probably has issues with, the Christian community to a Christian event? But it is not a church event. It's a program for Nigerians, basically.
Even if it is like, is attended by majority of the audience are Christians, it really, I really do resonate with the last tweet that says, look, this is the more reason why we should have him. With all of this controversy and everything, let's hear what he has to say. Let people ask him questions. And I'll still bring to the table what I always say, like, it's important that we have to treat issues as issues, regardless of our standing, our demographics and psychographics, wherever we're coming from, whether we're Christians, Muslims, from different communities and everything. Yeah, of course, we may have lapses of, controversial issues that we've spoken about in the past. People saying, look, he took off his deputy, he was a Christian, not a Muslim and everything. But do we have to just remain on that path? Can't we move on? Address issues now that the country is in a state of what I call chaos. Really, because insecurity is everything. I mean, it's of national importance. So this is the time where we should have everybody, especially people who are doing stuff in their states, who are doing amazing things in their state. We've had different governors, state governors, like El-Rufai, call for some sort of, state independence. They're trying to make sure they have power and over their state to make sure things are working. So let's hear their views. Let's see how we can move this going forward. And, we can talk about these things. They are not really very, very that important.
Yes, I mean, the conversations that needs to be had. Conversations that cut across a lot of things. And like this person said, we need to have state access. We cannot keep putting religion, culture, tribalism and everything at the forefront, and forgetting that, look, this is Nigeria. Whatever we're doing is for the good of the country first. Before we get to you're first Nigerian before you're Christian, Muslim, Igbo, Yoruba, and all of that stuff. We're first Nigerian, and anything that will help push the country forward is what we should be clapping for.
I'm not ignoring the fact that there's still the controversial issue of him talking about Christians and, and everything. That's why people should ask the question.
Be on the table.
Yeah. You ask the question. Why is this happening? Why people have been talking about this? Why did you take off? Then we can now hear what he has to say, and that can now form news. Exactly. So we can now act in the long run.
So I think Nigerians should just take a chill pill. Relax and let's just hear what he has to say, and every other person that's going to be on the platform. So nobody should boycott the platform. Everyone needs to know what's happening, what's in the head of these state actors and all of that stuff. If you have questions, ask the questions. Don't necessarily boycott the platform, because there are conversations that need to be had, and we have to have the conversation regardless of who is going to be talking to us on the platform. Okay? All right, we're going to go on a break now, and then when we come back, it's time for the big story. Do stay tuned.
Welcome back to The Conversation, showing on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And it's the crux of the show, the big story. Before we go on, don't forget you can be a part of our social media community at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And don't forget you can always live stream our program on our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. And of course, subscribe on YouTube so you do not miss out on our amazing content. It's The Conversation again, and this is Big Story. You see, the Nigerian film industry, also known as Nollywood, produces about 50 movies per week, and is second only to India's Bollywood, even more than Hollywood in the United States. Although its revenues are not on par with that of Bollywood and Hollywood, Nollywood still generates around $500 million annually. Although the industry has the potential to make much more, it has been riddled with a lot of challenges and struggles. Today, the conversation focuses on some of these bottlenecks and how they can be resolved to boost the industry to its maximum potential. Joining us to discuss further on this is actor and filmmaker Ike Odiase. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Appreciate it.
All right. First of all, Nollywood and its potential of becoming a multi-billion-dollar industry. Is this true?
Very, very true. If we consider the fact that Nigerians are very creative people, and I think what's holding us back is the technical side of it.
Okay.
Equipments, and that's what's holding us back. Otherwise, we should be doing more than we're doing at the moment. The manpower is there, the talent is there, the will is there. It's the technical side.
When you say technical, what do you mean really?
I mean equipment.
Okay.
I mean also the funds.
Okay.
See, to make sure that somebody is well paid to expect the best from the person. You see. So these are all the small hindrances. They're not small though. It's massive. If they're there, and if this is added to the zeal and the willingness of us to keep doing, then the sky's our limit.
Okay, you mentioned funding, you mentioned technicalities as equipment,
Right.
but I do know that there are some other challenges like public location and all of that stuff. There's a lot that Nollywood is faced with. So can you tell us how to go about solving all of this?
Okay, you mentioned location.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see that as a problem. But if we need our own location, which means we need to build our own sets, this we've not really started. It goes back to funds. You see, if you want to build that set, you need good money to really create it the way you want so that it's collapsible, to allow you the opportunity to film from wherever you want. Yeah, that's where funds come in again to location. So what we're doing now is we're going from house to house, from institutions to institutions, and we're praying on the people's willingness to open up to us. And Nigerians have been very, very wonderful in this. There are issues here and there, and how they expect us to use their properties, and if we have stepped out of bound, and so those small rifts are also there. But some of us, we caution each other and we say, look, this is somebody's home. This is their property. This is where they live. And if we are to come in there, we need to be civil in our approach. So this is what we tell each other, and we're doing our best. That's why they keep letting us come again. The hotels are doing wonderfully well. But there are some who don't want to see us at all due to past experiences. But that doesn't mean we don't keep knocking. We keep open. We want to come in. We want to come in. And Nigerians have been helpful.
Okay, but where does government, private sector partnership come into all of this?
See, make I speak pidgin.
Okay, go on.
That government thing, they say the organs are there. How it functions it's a mirage. It's not concrete. We don't feel it. Even when they come with plans and strategies and all that, we the practitioners, we don't feel it. Of course, once in a while, things have happened. But I've lived in a society where it's more organized, where we'll see how it trickles down. Whatever has been budgeted for this industry, whatever is supposed to be for us, yes, we see it the way it flows. Yeah, but
you don't feel it.
We don't feel it.
So transparency is an issue.
Okay.
Sorry.
So transparency is an issue.
Transparency in disbursement and sincerity.
Okay.
Sincerity. That's the bane in our society. That's the problem we're having. So it's a reflection of the Nigerian society. Corruption, where things are not done straight. People don't deal straight. When you tell me good morning, I have to go outside and see if it is truly morning. You see? So these are all the things. There are issues and there are cases where we've been asked to submit proposals and all that, to come with concept projects. And we spend money in trying to put these things together, and they're submitted. Until tomorrow, we never hear from them.
Talking about feeling it, there's this general notion that Nigerian Nollywood industry people are not are struggling financially. You see, we keep seeing trends of people having a health condition coming out to seek for donation and everything. And this is becoming a trend. Why is all of this?
It's because of the take home. I don't want to mention names, but we just lost some people here in Abuja recently. I mean, these are men who are good actors. Victor Decker, beautiful actor. How did he end up? It's sad. I was there, I saw his home, the last place he lived. I don't know his private life though, I know nothing about it, but the professional side of it. This is someone who has been there, who's been acting. When you see him perform, as a colleague, I look at him and I'm like, wow, how beautiful. But what's his take home? What does he have something to set aside for insurance, to have a saving, to even live present day, to live well, quality life? It's not there. And it's because the producers who source for this, the executive producers who source for this money, not that they don't want to give the money, but the money is not there. So should we all just close our hands, fold our hands, and then give up? That's where I come in as a producer. All I've been doing is from our savings, from our pockets. So if I put it into the market, and it's not coming back because of all the levels of engagements now, and the money is not coming back, and some other people are busy living on your sweat. Your films are out there. You don't see the money, but you know, or you're seeing, you get to know that others are living on your money. Which are the organizations I should go to? Where I will not spend money again to get a lawyer to pursue it. Will I do that? So it's really complex. That's why people come out to seek for funds. Our father too, who just passed away recently, the one with the white hair.
Bruno.
Bruno,
Yeah.
wow, brilliant man. God bless his soul. He too had it tough. Of course, along the way, sometimes he had some assistance here and there. But no, that's not what we want. Such a man should be able to stand on his feet. Such a man should be able to bless others. But we saw what happened to him. In his last days at the National Hospital, we were there. And when we came out, we just looked at each other and we're like, wow, is this what awaits us?
So, but where's the gap? Where's the gap coming from, really? Because if the industry produces over did you say over $500 million?
50 movies per week.
And $500 million.
Yes.
In a year. If you have all of that, and then we're seeing that the players in this industry, it doesn't translate to their pockets and all that. So where is the gap coming from? Is it an issue with piracy? Is it an issue with the guild system? Where's the issue coming from?
These structures are there. The guild, like you just mentioned, they are there. But does the guilds know what they are supposed to be doing? My experience go far back to Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, and through life, I have worked as a cleaner, in Denmark. And one of the jobs I had was working with a firm called Danish Television. So some papers are left on the table, and while working, I look, I see systems, I see what's going on, and got to meet some colleagues there too, where one way or the other, got to know a lot of things about the system, how the money gets to them.
Yes.
See, so it is a system. The guilds are there, they have the names of practitioners. So if these things are put together, and people who went to school to study management and human management and all this economics and all that, if they come together, just like we are doing what we know how to do, let them use it to organize us. And let's see how this, what you mentioned the amount that comes in. Why don't we get it? I should be using the best of cars. I should be very comfortable, eating well. But I'm relying on what I have done before to pull me through while I'm trying to punch and get into this market. There are so many others along the way who are reaping from it. A good example, I'm in the middle of trying to find out how my job, it's called The Inbox, got to be on Amazon Prime.
With your work, you didn't put it on Amazon
I didn't
Prime,
put it.
but it's there.
If you're watching right now, go Google it or just check it. Go on Amazon Prime and look for the movie The Inbox.
Okay. I'm confused. So,
Right now.
wow.
And that's the second of my movie. The first one, Conscripted.
Yes.
There were issues too amongst us that cooperated to do it. One person ran with it. And it's playing out there. The Conscripted. That's the title of that movie. So you see, part of my savings, I have put it into the industry. We worked, we begged people. I used my equipment. I used my home to shoot. I used friends' homes to shoot. But I have not been able to put it out there in public for people to see. See, that's another angle too. If they will accept your job, we are at the mercy. If they will accept it, it's like my heart is in my mouth.
Yeah.
Will they accept it? Will they accept it? And then they don't accept it. It comes back to me. And now it's on Amazon Prime.
That's the question some people are putting out. You see, we have rankings. We have Nollywood being on top of the ranks. We have some people doing very well. But then we're talking about the balancing. Because if we're saying the industry, we mean everyone in the industry, the actors, the producers, the directors. So how then do we create this balance? We have people doing really well, you know, talking about being ambassadors for, you know, brands and people who are, it's not even long they started, but we still have veterans who are suffering, who are at the mercy of all of these issues that we're mentioning. So how then do we balance all of this?
That's the million-naira question. I wish I have all the answers. But there are people in government. There are people out there who studied all these things. Where are they? Why can't they come in and provide all these solutions? It's there, it's thriving. Instead of relying on oil and gas and all that, why don't we look this way? Let's structure it well so that those who are really in the field are getting it back. And like you said, some of us are doing brilliantly well. It's not everyone that is so well fixed up there that can figure it out, that knows how to play the game, you know. And it will take time for some of us who have been out of the country, who came back to be able to fit in properly. Others come, they just start from the top and they're good to go. But you know, acting is, and if you want to be in production, you have to feel the grassroots. You have to be there. You need to get to know the people, especially if you are that type. Yeah, and this is what you see. This is what's going on. We just wish there's a system which is well organized, which you just plug and play. You just get in, and the system just moves you on. You don't need to have all these crooked ways of thinking, weird ways of achieving something. No, you don't have to go that far. What's the point?
We're talking about system. Nigerian movies, we don't have creatives really. There's no place of, you know, royalties for work that you've done. You didn't say you didn't put your movie on Amazon Prime, but you found it there. What measures, you know, we should have measures to ensure that even when you are done, even retired, you should still be earning from your work, right?
True.
Why don't we have that? And another thing is, a lot of people have argued that, because Merciful did say that we have people who are doing so well, and then we have even people who just started, and then we have veterans who are still struggling. And then people say it boils down to the management. These people have, you know, people that manage them, and they know how to go through it. But these veterans have not moved with that trend. How do you relate to all of this?
I don't know, those who's going to manage them, maybe they don't see the potential anymore, because they might be seeing them as being burned out. So what's the point of spending your time and energy over there struggling? About royalties. I happen to have been in 1 or 2 jobs in Denmark. Till today, I earn from it. Anywhere it's shown in Scandinavia or even in Germany, money goes into my account.
So why have we not been able to do that?
Do it here. I think there's this audio-visual something that they were trying to do it. And then they told us all to fill forms, which we did, and then they had it. But we never had anything anymore. It's either it's dead or it's fainted, or it's not working.
And nobody followed up on it or anything?
Who do I speak to about it? Who do I ask? There is an organization who talked about royalty. They sent people around, and we have filled it. Where is it today? It's not there. So we are going through it every day. We see it, and if you look at, for me to seek redress in this my case now, I need a lawyer. I spoke with a lawyer who sent me a bill of 650,000 naira. So, will I get this money? Are there lawyers that can help? Of course, I've heard 1 or 2 that there are people that can help out in this situation. So I'm investigating. I'm checking to see how does it hold together? So, but those who don't have this resource to really go and investigate, they just move on. It's Niger. What do you do?
So let's talk about prominent award recognition category platforms. You know, like the Oscars. When do we see Nollywood, you know, coming out as a winner, an Oscar winner? We had we've had a couple of movies, you know, come out as Nigeria's submission. Last year we had The Milkmaid. But when are we going to see Nigeria in that space, you know, winning an award?
Do you think we're going to actually
all of this
quality movies?
Is it till all of these management issues are sorted, or is it an issue from the talent point of view? So the equipment you mentioned, the techniques you mentioned, is it the quality of the production? When do you see us, you know, being on the front burner in terms of awards and recognition?
When we are ready to do something really indigenous. That is us. When we are going to tell a story about us, that is purely ours, our style, our content. You see, I've lived with them, with the Europeans and Asians, and happened to opportunity to have interacted with them. You see, when you're trying to be like them, how far can you go? What if we really come back home? There's a movie that still rings in my head. I was in the secondary school when I saw it. I think it's Shaka. Shaka Zulu.
Oh yeah, Shaka Zulu.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
It still rings in my head.
A South African movie.
Yeah, these are things that are purely, solely African. That's why I'm so much praying for Asaba when they're doing all these epic movies. One day they will get it right. It will be purely indigenous. The story will be so well woven. It's the flow. Once the story is good, and the technical things which we're talking about, it's coming, it's there. When we're able to match them together with the talents we have beautiful actors. You can take that from us. But we just have to understand the trend. And don't try to be an American. I am not an American. I am a Nigerian of Edo expression. Edo man, Benin man. Yes, that's what I am. That's why my name is Ikmomosa or Diase. I'm not some Rawlings or some... What for? I'm proud to be who I am. So that's what should reflect in our movies. Let's be original. Let's stay original. I think that was why one of our movies that was nominated one year didn't really clinch it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That's the key. We've been there. Now we see it, that this is how it should be done. Let's be original. Let's be indigenous. Let's bring out that thing in us that identify us as a people. Don't try to be especially the names of people around the middle belt of Nigeria. When they call their names, I'm like, what? Are you a Nigerian?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you a Nigerian? I'm waiting to hear Olusegun Obasanjo. I'm waiting to hear the full name. You know, you can't tell me you are Alfred. You are.
Well, who's to blame for
I'm
that?
sorry.
We have an Alfred in the building anyways. I think it's going to take that person.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing time with you. It's really been a pleasure having you in the studio. We look forward to more conversations, you know, surrounding, you know, Pan-Africanism and everything that we have to stand for as Africans. Thank you once again.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much for watching, viewers out there. Don't forget, it's The Conversation, and you can always be a part of it by joining our social media community at TOS TV Network on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course our website www.tostvnetwork.com. And don't also forget to subscribe on YouTube, TOS TV Network. Thank you so much. It's Merciful Ajinamo.
And I'm Adesua Osuyi. Good morning and thank you for joining us.